I've been having a lot of weird dreams lately. I feel like I'm a pretty active sleeper. I'm tired after I wake up. Like, I do the lucid dream thing. I feel as though like I'm always like sitting on the edge of like a really deep REM sleep and still awake to the point where I can still kind of control it. And they usually, like lately, it's been every night. Before, like a couple weeks ago, maybe it was like every other night, 3 times a week, but now it's every night in which I have a weird dream. And it can range from my ex, like my high school ex boyfriend, to my aunt dying. It's been really affecting me in my day to day life, which is something that hasn't happened since at least I was like in middle school, having like, nightmares about like a clown chasing me or something. Now it's more so like me reconciling my relationship with someone I haven't spoken to in a few months or losing a loved one. So last night I had a dream. I just like apologized for the way I ended the relationship, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry for not communicating enough." Oh, I started crying and then the morning after, like I was like thinking about it. I was like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have broken up with him. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have stuck it out and seen where it led us. Maybe we're good together now because we have grown up apart from each other." And that was a breakup from 4 years ago. And I continuously have dreams about him. Yeah. I had one with my aunt, um, in which she passed away in my dream, or my uncle passed away in my dream, and those really fucked me up in the morning. Like, I completely shut down that day. I wasn't talking to anyone, and I knew it was just a dream, and I knew it was fake, but it felt so real. So I brought it up to my therapist too, and she was concerned that I was dissociating, which is not uncommon for me. So I have been given grounding techniques to kind of bring me back to earth, essentially, because it's normal for me to have an active imagination, but it's gotten to the point where I go to bed and I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going to be waiting for me on the other side. And I just want to go to bed and relax. I don't want to think about my ex. I don't want to think about the possible loss of my family. I just want to go to bed. So that's been frustrating. And it just kind of goes to show, too, that I don't really know what's going on up there. Like, I'm completely out of the loop on what's going on in my head. My brain has a mind of its own, if that's possible, working against me in every way. Hopefully I can get some good sleep soon in which I'm not dreaming about my ex, because he's a great guy. I just don't want to see him when I'm trying to get some good old shut-eye.
Okay, so I don't really have that many dreams. And so like I've always been like really interested in like psychedelics and like Alice in Wonderland and these kind of like dream like super hyper reality kind of things. And like cuz I never really had that growing up and then fresh no no sophomore year of college, we were at our last apartment and I had the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life. Like it was honestly it felt so real. And it was because I kept waking up like in this bed that I'm in right now, like
Mm.
in that room, in then different scenarios happened. I wake up and it's like my bedroom and like it's dark in here and then I look to like my door which was over here and that just the bottom of the door was like blue.
Mhm.
And so I like get up and I'm like that's kind of weird and like I get out there and like it's like a small kickback. And then I wake up again, same room, like same blue light. And this time I walk out and it's like a big ass party. It's like it's our apartment, but it's bigger. But specifically is Dave Franco. But I, for some reason in my head, was like James Franco. Like, it was Dave's face, but it was James' name, you know? Like, we like talked for a while, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. And then I'm like, I'm so exhausted. Like, I have to go back to bed. And I'm like, sorry, like, Dave, James, like, I gotta go. And he was like, well, call me. Like, I was like, okay, Dave, James, like, for sure. And then I wake up for the last time in the dream still. And I wake up and I'm like, I feel weird. Like, I feel really weird. So I stand up, I'm like, and I open the door, and you and Xander are like, as if it's like the original night, you guys are sitting in the exact same position. And I open the door, I'm like, guys, I don't feel so good. And then I like collapse, and then I like wake up for real. And I'm like, I don't know if this is real, because it felt just as real as every single one before. And so I like start turning on a bunch of lights and like making sure that things function like reality. And then I'm like, I need to talk to someone. I need to tell someone. And like, you're asleep, Ella's asleep, and I'm like, Xander's awake. Xander's awake. So I'm like, at first, I like barely knock. I'm like, Xander. And then he lets me in. I'm like, is this real? Like, am I real? And he was like, yeah. Like,
girl, yeah.
Like, yeah.
I've never been big on remembering my dreams, so I think it's only that when I do remember them, I recognize them as significant. This dream in particular definitely haunted me for about a week. I dreamt that my parents, my sister, and my girlfriend at the time were all sitting outside of some house at a picnic table having a fine time when a car pulled up, and it was a drive-by shooting. They started shooting at all of us, no one else. I remember seeing the bullets fly by as I rolled across the ground. For some reason, I was the only one spared. To the point where it's like, there's no use hanging around, I need to run, you know, like, I'm gonna get killed. And I remember running down the street. I don't know what street, I don't even know what city, because it didn't look like Chicago, it didn't look like New York. But I remember running down the street for what felt like hours, and I wasn't running on, you know, my 2 feet as I usually do. I was running on all fours. I don't know if it's because out of survival I wanted to stay low to the ground and be as quick as possible. I don't know if it's, you know, I was relying on methods I used during childhood. I don't know, but I remember running on all fours down a concrete street for as long as I could until I came up on this park. It was nighttime. I came up on this park. It looked deserted, and I crawled into the overgrown grass and was just hiding in one of the corners. I didn't know what to do. My family is dead. My girlfriend's dead. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to call. I was so paranoid. And then a white couple entered the park. Like, I know I need help. Can I trust them? And we're going back and forth, like, can I ask them for help? Or are they going to turn me into the people I'm running from? Are they going to turn me into the... You know, I didn't know what to do, and I remember in my dream, I sat there for a long time contemplating what to do, because it still felt like I was in a life or death situation. And when I eventually did go up to them, I never got off my knees. And I don't know why. I just remember I was on my knees pleading for help, trying to explain what had just happened. While they looked at me so confused, I was trying to ask for help. Can you call the police? Can you... someone... And they were so confused, and I didn't know if I was safe yet or not talking to them. And that's when the dream ended. I don't know how it ended. I remember I woke up feeling really disturbed. I called my mother. For a week, I just felt unnerved, like I couldn't trust what was around me. I couldn't trust the relationships I had, because the relationship I have with my parents and my sister and the relationship I had at the time with my girlfriend were so bulletproof. Like, so, they felt so indestructible and so certain. And then to have a super vivid dream watching all of them get torn down, and I just have to run through the street for my life, that really hit me. I don't know, that bothered me for a while, until I was able to realize it was a dream, pray that it wasn't my subconscious. I don't know. The description is never altered, you know. I remember it as if it were a movie or a memory. And I think that's why I was so unsettled for so long, because it felt so real. And even though I confirmed, you know, that it obviously wasn't real, I don't think any amount of fact can really fight that feeling.
Mm.